Hello everyone, this is part 7 of What If Naruto Was in Rosario Vampire, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Boring, 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 he muttered to himself. Mocha had told him she would need to spend the next few days sleeping, so he hadn't been surprised when she wasn't there to work out with him. What had surprised him was that he'd grown so used to having her there with him. He'd spent years working out alone after Iruka got recalled. He'd always been fine with it. But now he found himself missing having her there beside him. The morning workout just wasn't the same. Of course, there was something else on his mind. He'd barely gotten any sleep last night. He'd been thinking about Mocha's gorgeous pale body and the feel of her skin as he'd slowly slipped off her clothing. He'd thought about that wonderful pressure as she'd leaned into him. He thought of delicious scent and of the warmth of her breath against his skin. He thought about the way she smiled at him. Never the big open smiles that teenage Mocha gave him. The adult Mocha had these slight grins and smirks that always seemed to hint at more. He loved teen Mocha, he loved her warmth, her openness and her kindness. But it seemed that her adult version kept preying on his mind. There was something about the older Mocha that just drew him in. She was powerful and fearsome, and he always felt that he had to earn what he got from her. She was a challenge. Being so drawn to the adult Mocha, he almost felt as though he were being unfaithful to the younger version. He knew that wasn't the case since they were both the same person, and shared the same memories. Still, he felt a little guilty at being so into the adult Mocha. Is it possible to cheat on a girl with the same girl? He shook his head. This was pointless, he couldn't do anything about Mocha right now anyway. There was something that he could deal with, however. It was something he'd been avoiding for a long time. But now he would face it head on. He sat down beneath a tree in the lotus position and shut his eyes. He calmly began to meditate and focus inward. All right, you damn fox, the warden wants to have a word with you. XXXXXXXXXXX. Naruto found himself in the middle of a vast cemetery. Well, I wasn't expecting this. He got up and began walking around to try and find the fox. As he searched, he glanced over at some of the tombstones. Here lies Uzumaki Naruto, met by the people he tried to serve. Here lies Uzumaki Naruto, unloved, unmourned, and forgotten. Here lies Uzumaki Naruto, whose death was a source of great joy. All the tombstones were similar, all of them recording some tragic end. You know, he shouted. I go to a school filled with monsters and I've had an entire village hate my guts. If you want to scare me, you'll have to do a lot better than this. From somewhere up ahead of him, laughter rumbled. Oh, don't blame me. Everything you see here comes from your own mind. There was fresh laughter. I'd say you have a poor outlook. Yeah, well, having a demon inside your guts will do that to a guy. He followed the sound of the voice to a large decrepit mausoleum. The entrance was barred by a rusted iron gate with a single paper seal placed on it. Beyond the gate there was only darkness. I want to have a talk with you. I imagined that you did, human. After all, this is the first time you've called on me. But really, shouldn't you be thanking me first? Thanking you, he shouted. For what? Destroying my life, making my whole village hate me, killing my parents. Two large orange eyes suddenly appeared in the darkness behind the gate. For giving you power when you needed it. I'm not thanking you for that. So far as I'm concerned, that's the very least you owe me after all the grief you've caused. You know, human, I don't think I care much for your attitude. I am the great Lord Demon Fox Kyuubi, show me proper respect. Naruto smiled. F you. What did you say? The Kyuubi growled. I said F you. Naruto shouted at him. You're the great lord of nothing now. All you are is a prisoner inside my belly. Beneath the eyes 2 rows of jagged teeth appeared. Have a care how you speak to me, mortal, or you will regret it. How? What are you going to do to me? Naruto demanded. Make people hate me. Force me to live all alone. Send me to a place filled with monsters that think of me as a half-breed, and occasionally try to kill me. Oh wait, you've already done all that. Face it, You've already caused me as much harm as you can. You have no idea what I can do to you, mortal worm. Save it, Naruto replied unimpressed. I know all about how the seal works. You can't control me or hurt me unless I allow it. And hurting me doesn't really help you anyway, since if I sus. He heard the QB growl. I cannot let you that is true. But I can let you suffer. Perhaps the next time your mate is in danger I won't give you any of my power until your own life is in jeopardy. If Mocha SS because you won't give me power when I need it I'll K myself. The QB glared down at him. They both knew he was speaking the truth. What do you want, human? I want you to give me free access to your power whenever I need it. No. The stronger I am the better chance I have of surviving. Naruto argued. It's in your own interest to give me more power. It is in my own interest to keep you alive. If you have too much power you will be all the more likely to K yourself. The QB paused, and Naruto got the sneaking suspicion the fox was plotting something. However, there might be a way for you to gain greater access to my power safely. The sudden friendly tone set off all sorts of alarm bells. But he was still interested. I'm listening, Naruto said warily. Listen carefully, you will need to do exactly as I say. XXXXXXXXXX. Naruto opened his eyes and was once again beneath a tree. Damn barker fox, he muttered. And I've got to be an even bigger barker to think about listening to him. He stood up and began heading back to the dorm. XXXXXXXXXX. On his way back he decided to take a slightly different, more scenic route. He went by a spot with a large pond that actually had living trees and vegetation. The sun was just rising and it was pretty. It being so early in the morning he'd expected to have the whole area to himself. He was a bit surprised to see a girl standing on the water's edge skipping stones. She had purple hair and was wearing a very casual outfit that included purple and white stockings. As he was running past she turned around to look at him. She seemed to have a lollipop in her mouth. He thought she looked kind of cute, though nowhere near Mocha's league. He flashed her a big smile and waved as he ran past. Good morning. The girl gawked at him in obvious surprise. She didn't say anything but managed to raise a hand in a half-hearted gesture as he went by. Kind of cute but shy, he decided. As he ran past he forgot about her as he had many things on his mind. XXXXXXXXXX. He first noticed it when he went down to the dorm cafeteria to eat. Conversation stopped and all eyes turned to him. He'd gotten used to getting a few jealous or unhappy looks from people. But this was different. Everyone stopped to look up at him. When he sat down at a table the two others sitting there quickly got up to leave. The looks themselves had changed too. He recognized the looks, he'd seen them often enough. They're afraid of me. XXXXXXXXXX. Naruto-kun. As soon as he exited the dorm Kurumu ran up to him. Are you all right? She grabbed his face and shoved it into her chest. There are some crazy rumors going around. You're smothering him, you big-chested bimbo. Yukari said. Kurumu released her death grip and Naruto took a moment to regain his breath. What sort of rumors? There's talk that you were attacked by a bunch of rogue monsters and that you killed one of them after getting a demonic aura. The whole school is talking about it. Kurumu said. It's not true, is it? Don't be ridiculous, Yukari said. Only the most powerful monsters have demonic auras. A human can't have one. So you weren't attacked yesterday? Kurumu asked. The girls were putting him in a tight spot. He'd been planning to tell them nothing at all about the fight, and to say that Mocha had left the academy for a few days. But if the whole school already knew, let's go somewhere quiet and talk. They both looked stunned. XXXXXXXXXX. So you wound up rescuing Mocha and King, their leader? Kurumu said, amazed. And Mocha-chan is really all right? Yukari said worriedly. Yeah, I really did that, and Mocha-chan is fine. She just needs to sleep for the next few days to recover her strength. He told them a carefully censored version of events. A version that left out the QB's power or the fact he'd seen Mocha-en. And you don't have a demonic aura, right? Kurumu asked. He gave her an easy smile. I'm human, how could I have one? Both girls nodded, accepting that. So I guess these rumors about you having an aura are just an attack on you, Yukari said unhappily. What are we going to do about them? We aren't going to do anything. I'll handle it. I've gone through worse, so it'll be fine. I don't want you girls getting into any trouble trying to help me. But you don't want us to try and defend you from these lies. Yukari pleaded. No, Naruto said firmly. Once people make their minds up about something, it's almost impossible to get them to change. Believe me, this is something I know about. If you two start trying to argue with people, you'll just make yourselves targets. So please don't do anything on my behalf. The girls were unhappy with that, but finally agreed. Well, there's at least one good thing about this situation. Kurumu said. What's that? Yukari asked. Kurumu grabbed a hold of Naruto's arm, careful to make sure her BS were pressing against it. Since Mocha's asleep, I get to walk Naruto to class. Yahoo! Yukari immediately grabbed onto his other arm. Don't get too excited, you blue-haired cow. He still belongs to Mocha. That was how he wound up walking to class that day with a pair of girls hanging off of him. XXXXXXXXXXX. By the time he was done with club activities, it was obvious just how much things had changed. People in the hall gave him a wide berth. In class, they avoided looking at him. When he did catch them looking, they immediately turned away. This was different from how it had been back in the village. Back then he'd seen plenty of fear in people's eyes, but even more hatred. They had been willing to glower at or threaten a small child. Here no one was about to come up to him and scream abuse in his face. It was definitely better than what it had been like in Konoha growing up. But it was worse than it had been when he was just a half-breed. At least then he was still accepted by the other students. His position was certainly low, but at least he could still interact with them normally. But now he felt like an outcast. XXXXXXXXXX. That evening he went out into the woods to find a nice quiet spot. I really must be nuts to do this, he muttered. The problem was he wanted the Kyuubi's power. Having had it once, he wanted to be able to call on it whenever he needed. If he was going to survive, if he was going to protect Mocha and the others, he had to be as powerful as possible. And besides, he felt he had a right to the power inside of him. He'd spent his whole life being made to suffer because he was a Jinchuriki. It seemed only fair he should get the benefits. He didn't trust the Kyuubi, that went without saying. But it was in the Kyuubi's own interest for him to get stronger. This was a way to do that, maybe. But in any case he was willing to try. He took out a kunai and cut his hand. Ninja had their own way to summon beings. It required a contract and a specific series of hand signs. But the Kyuubi had agreed to lend him the power to summon using the demonic method. He spread some of his blood on the ground and stepped back. He felt the Kyuubi's power suddenly filling him. He felt his face and hands transform and saw the demonic aura once more surround him with a cloak. Mocha and the others called it a demonic aura, but in his mind he thought of it as red chakra. Since the Kyuubi had given him the power he needed for this, he concentrated and spoke the words. Come forth, I summon you. With a burst of flame and heat, a man appeared directly in front of him. He was a bit taller than Naruto and had two weird dots above his eyes. He looked at Naruto in shock that very quickly turned to anger. Who are you? How did you bring me here? I summoned you, Naruto said calmly. The stranger stared at him. He could obviously see and feel the demonic aura. That is impossible. I am Kuyu, a Yukai Kitsune. Only the Great Lord himself could summon me. I am the Great Lord Kyuubi. A deep voice boomed out. Now kneel before me and hear the commands of your Lord. Kuyu stared, not believing. But there was no denying the power he felt. It was definitely the demonic aura of a Yukai Kitsune. The aura was not that strong. His own true form possessed four tails and was far greater than what he was sensing. There was also the fact that despite the physical transformation, the person standing in front of him reeked of humanity. But there was something else in the scent, a bare fragment that was buried beneath that human stink. It was the scent of a kitsune. Illusions could fool the eye. Voices and sounds could be copied. But there was no way to recreate a living scent. My family has long served in the royal court, Kuyu said carefully. If you are truly the Great Lord, you would know my lineage. Naruto smiled. It was seriously weird speaking with the fox's voice. It was even stranger to be hearing the fox in his head. He was acting as a translator, giving the guy he just summoned the answers he was hearing in order to convince him. I know you, Rikyo Kuyu, son of Kitaro. Your family has served me well and faithfully. Now I call upon you to continue that service. No human could know his clan name or the name of his father. He fell to his knees and cast his face down. Great Lord, I am your humble servant. Command me and I shall obey. Then listen well and hear how you shall serve me. I am bound within the F of this human. It is my wish that he learn the ways of the kitsune and grow strong enough to wield my full power one day. Instruct him and protect him. Treat him with all the honor and loyalty as was shown to the mighty Cadmus. Kuyu looked up, and there was understanding in his eyes. Naruto got the very definite feeling that he was missing something. My Lord Kyubi, I understand, and I shall fulfill your wishes. Inside his head he heard the fox laughing. Then I trust you will serve me well. Naruto felt the voice in his head fade away. The red chakra disappeared and he transformed back to his normal form. Kuyu got up to his feet and came forward. What is your human name? I will not refer to you as Lord Kyubi. His manner was polite but stiff. Naruto answered carefully. I am Uzumaki Naruto. And tell me, Uzumaki-san, how did the most powerful of all Yukai Kitsune end up a prisoner in a human boy? The tone remained polite but the eyes flashed with emotion. 16 years ago the Kyubi. Lord Kyubi. Kuyu snapped. Naruto looked up at the tall fellow with the flowing blonde hair. The Kyubi, he repeated. Attacked my village. The most powerful ninja in the village was able to defeat him by sealing him into a human newborn, me. I see, Kuyu replied courteously. Well, that does explain why the great lord has been away for so long. We all knew he was not S. For so long as he lives, no other Yukai Kitsune can gain 9 tails. You must feel most honored. Many humans worshipped members of my race as gods. That is what the great Lord Kyubi is to us, a being of such might and majesty as to be almost godlike. I hope you understand the rare privilege you enjoy being joined to such a divine presence. Naruto looked at him blankly. How about we leave my feelings for the Kyubi out of this? I was told you could give me instruction in how to access the power inside me safely and at will. Kuyu nodded. I will teach you the same lessons I learned as a kid. Despite being human, you should still be able to access the power so long as Lord Kyubi allows it. In time, you will be able to access greater and greater amounts of it. Until the day comes you are able to draw the full limit. I'm not really worried about that right now. I'd settle for just being able to draw some of it out whenever I need to. Very well, let us begin with your first lesson. You mean now? Naruto asked. It's kind of late, and I have homework. Kuyu frowned at him. The Lord Kyubi's instructions were clear. I am to teach you the ways of the kitsune. That is infinitely more important than any school work. Well, alright, he smiled at the man. I guess since you'll be my teacher I should call you Kuyu-sensei. Kuyu shrugged. You may call me that if you wish. And you can call me Naruto if you like. No, Kuyu said firmly. Even if you are nothing more than a lowly human, you possess the divine presence of the great lord. I shall refer to you as Uzumaki-san. You're not exactly social, are you? Kuyu frowned at him. Were you not the container of the great lord, I would want nothing to do with you, human. To be blunt, I don't think any humans should be at this school even if they are of the border races. Humans are weak, cowardly, and treacherous and are the natural enemies of all monsters. I see, Naruto said. Well, alright, but just so you know, I won't be inviting you to my next birthday party. Kuyu gave an annoyed shake of his head. Let us start with the first most basic lesson. Kitsune are beings of passion and fire. For us, our emotions bring out our full strength. But along with that passion must come a level of control. He held out his hand and created a large flame in the middle of his palm. Fire is our natural element, creating and shaping it are our innate gift. He made the flame blink out. Now I want you to concentrate on the kindling there and set it on fire. And just how do I do that? It's simple, just concentrate on the image of that wood burning and bring a little of the power out. Picture the fire and then make it happen. Just make it happen. Naruto said doubtfully. It is easy, now try. XXXXXXXXXXX. Several hours later, a frustrated and annoyed Kuyu glared at him. Enough. The sun is almost up. We have wasted the entire night on something a newborn can do. Naruto gave the man an angry look of his own. He was tired and annoyed and sick of the pointless lesson. Well, maybe if you actually gave me some instruction on what to do, I might manage it. I have told you what to do 100 times. Telling me to just do it, or just bring the power out, is not instruction. If I knew how to do that, I wouldn't need a teacher in the first place. Enough of this, he began walking away. I have other duties I must attend to. We will meet again tonight. You know I'm going to need some time to sleep and study. With the great Lord inside you, 3 or 4 hours of sleep should be all you need. As for your schoolwork, you do not need to worry about it anymore. What does that mean? Naruto called out, but Kuyu did not bother to answer. XXXXXXXXXXX. Feeling beat and not in a very good mood, he trudged back to the dorm. He decided to take the same route as yesterday. As he approached the pond, he spotted the same girl from last time. He watched as she skipped a stone across the calm water. He counted each of the skips before the stone disappeared. 7, that's pretty good. The girl turned around and looked up at him, startled. Sorry, am I bothering you? She slowly shook her head. No, I'm just not used to having people talk to me. Really, I'd think a pretty girl like you would be awfully popular. She immediately blushed and looked away from him. Damn it, why do I always say the wrong thing? Sorry, I didn't mean to embarrass you. She looked up at him shyly. That's all right. He approached her and picked up one of the pebbles on the ground. Mind if I try? She shook her head. He reared back and threw the stone as hard as he could. It went straight into the water with a decent size splash. She smiled a bit. You really suck at skipping stones. He gave her an embarrassed nod and rubbed the back of his head. Oh, come on, it's the first time I've ever tried this. She looked down at the ground and picked up a smooth pebble. She carefully placed it in his hand. Your angle is all wrong, you need to try and throw it so it hits the water almost flat. Don't throw it too hard, just relax and toss it. He nodded and gave it another try, following her instructions. This time the pebble did skip. It bounced across the water 3 times before disappearing. He turned to smile at her. Hey, you're a pretty good teacher. She blushed again. Thank you. You wouldn't know anything about how to make fire, would you? She stared at him for a second and then suddenly burst out laughing. He laughed a little too, but didn't think what he'd said was that funny. Sorry, she said once she had brought her laughter back under control. But I'm about the last person who would know anything about making fire. I see, well, I need to get going and get ready for class. It was nice meeting you. My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I am Shirayuki Mizo. May I call you Mizo-chan? She again blushed at his forwardness. Usually when boys tried to talk to her, her normal reaction was to run and hide. But there was something about this particular boy she just liked. It was almost as though he had a natural gift for making friends. Digging her foot into the sand a bit, she managed a slight grin despite her embarrassment. Sure, if you want. Great, and you can call me Naruto-kun if you like. He turned to go. It was really nice talking to you. Hey. He stopped and looked back at her. Yes. She hurried up beside him. Would you mind walking me back to my dorm? She carefully put a hand on his arm. He smiled. I'm always happy to escort a pretty girl and keep her safe. XXXXXXXXXXX. After a hot shower and big breakfast, Naruto stumbled into his home room. He could already tell it was going to be a long day. He was half asleep when there was a slight stir in the classroom. He opened one eye to spot a familiar face. His homeroom teacher spoke up in a pleased tone. Shirayuki-san, Nekonome-sensei greeted. It's so nice to have you in class finally. Please take any open seat. The girl nodded and slouched over to a seat near Naruto's. Sitting down, she gave him a shy smile. I never knew we were in the same homeroom, Naruto-kun. I feel lucky. He returned her smile. Me too. Kurumu, who was sitting in the seat next to Naruto, did not fail to notice this friendly interaction. Before she could comment on it though, the door to the room opened again. This time there was a much greater stir. A man with long blonde hair and a black coat entered the room. Nekonome-sensei's reaction to his presence was definitely a bit nervous. How can I help you, Kuyu-san? He gave her a polite bow and turned to address the class. I wish to make an announcement. Uzumaki Naruto has just been made a member of the Student Police Committee. I trust you will all treat him with the respect due his new position. What? Naruto sat up. This was news to him. I'm a member of what? Kuyu turned to him and gave him a bow. I will explain your new position and responsibilities when we meet after class tonight, Uzumaki-san. With that, Kuyu left. Naruto looked about. People in the class were all talking nervously, and commenting not only on the announcement but on the respectful treatment Naruto had just received. He looked over to Kurumu. What the hell just happened? What is this student police thing? She shrugged. I don't know, I've never heard of it before. They're a special group of elite students who help keep order and enforce the rules on campus. Mizore spoke up. They have the power to investigate and even arrest people and hold them. They're kind of scary. Kurumu frowned at the purple-haired girl. Naruto, who is she? This is Mizore-chan, he said simply. My new friend. XXXXXXXXXX. That evening he met with Kurumu and the other 4 members of the student police committee at the gloomy headquarters. What's the big idea of enrolling me in a group without even asking me first? Naruto demanded. The other members looked stunned at the belligerent tone, and even more surprised when Kuyu did not tear the arrogant boy apart. You should be grateful, Uzumaki-san. I don't actually expect you to do anything for the committee. You can think of the title as honorary. And now that you are one of us, you won't need to worry about schoolwork anymore. Just what does that mean exactly? The faculty and the committee share a certain understanding. Kuyu explained. They realize how many responsibilities we have maintaining the peace and order at this academy, and thus show us a certain amount of consideration. Consideration. A woman with long dark hair cleared things up for him. You can stop going to classes now. You'll pass everything with a B even if you never show up to a single class. They actually let you get away with that. Kuyu nodded. It is only reasonable, wouldn't you agree? This way we do not worry about pointless stuff, and in return the faculty need not worry about our investigations. Sudden understanding dawned on him. The teachers are actually scared of you. The dark-haired woman smiled nastily. Anyone with sense would be scared of us. In any case, Uzumaki-san, Kuyu said. You no longer need to worry about your school work. Frowning, he turned to leave. You'll have to excuse me. I need to go study for my biology test tomorrow. Why bother? Kuyu asked. You'll get a B whatever you put down. My orders from the Hokage were to attend this school and pass my classes. That's my mission. A ninja should carry out his mission without looking for or expecting shortcuts. And to be honest, I don't want special treatment. As soon as he was gone, the dark-haired woman turned to Kuyu. Why are we taking that? Especially from a half-breed. I am under orders to protect and instruct him, Kito. Regardless of what he is, Uzumaki Naruto is under my protection, which means he is under the protection of the committee. He looked at her and grinned. Is that clear? Unhappy, she still nodded. It's clear, even if I don't understand it. Kuyu nodded. It was enough that he would be obeyed. He thought about the story of Cadmus and the Kitsune. It was a favorite tale and every Kitsune knew it. Cadmus had been a giant. Hearing that Kitsune had great magic, he found a young one and swallowed him whole. He immediately gained the use of the fox's magic and over the years grew very powerful. But one day all his great powers disappeared and he began to suffer terrible stomach pains. He watched as a fully grown fox tore its way out of his belly. The Kitsune had survived being swallowed and simply waited until the day he could take all the giant's power and escape. When the Great Lord had mentioned Cadmus, he'd understood immediately the hidden instruction. Lord Kyuubi wanted Naruto to grow strong enough to wield my full power one day. But no human body could ever withstand that much power. At the 9-tailed state, the body would be fully and permanently transformed into a kitsune's. And no human seal would be able to prevent it. Naruto would cease to exist and the Great Lord would be fully restored. The challenge would be to keep Naruto alive until he was ready to attempt the 9-tail state. It was possible to have the Great Lord's personality emerge much sooner. Left unmanaged, he would have great influence at 4 tails and likely fully take over at the 6-tail state. But that would be very dangerous. An uncontrolled transformation might very well kill Naruto and the Great Lord along with him. There was also the possibility of the 2 psyches being permanently merged together. The idea of the Great Lord being influenced by a human was distasteful in the extreme. No, the safest and surest route was to help Naruto along the path to power. To strengthen and protect him until he was ready for the final step, at which point Naruto would meet his demise and the Great Lord would be reborn. XXXXXXXXXX. The following day the bus was making a special trip in from the human world. You seem to be handling the journey very well. The bus driver commented. The old ninja looked up from his notebook. I've done a lot of traveling and seen a lot of things. This isn't that big a deal to me. Oh really? The bus driver said conversationally. The spiky-haired ninja smiled. Of course, after all, I am Jiraiya the legendary Toad Sage. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.